The next session is a continuation of the future of cities that we started before lunch, and it's going to be incredibly insightful of how our future cities are going to look like. And I'm going to start with Laurence Kemball-Cook, who's the founder and CEO of Pavegen, a technology that transforms footsteps into energy. Laurence, please.
Hello everyone, and good afternoon. So today, I'm going to talk about the smart city revolution and also new energy technologies. So firstly, who am I? I'm an engineer, I'm a designer, an entrepreneur, and CEO and founder of Pavegen. Now, before I talk about our technology that generates energy from footsteps, I want to talk about how I see cities and the world today. So today, the majority of the world's population is in cities. So 55% of people, so over 50% are living in cities. 7.4 billion people on this planet, and the population is rising. Why are people going to cities? Opportunity, jobs. People are always going to be going to urban environments. Now, there's huge challenges with climate change. Now, we're all very aware of some of those challenges, but it involves sea level rising, increased CO2. What you can see behind me, huge parts of Bangladesh will be flooded before we know it if we don't address the serious issues of climate change around us. Now, there is some hope. So the last 12 months saw over a third of the world's energy being powered from renewables. So solar is doing a great job. So you can see behind me is a Californian solar farm. Now, it works really well, solar, in deserts. It's remote, there's great sunlight. So we've got a good solution there. Now, if you go to wind works really well out at sea, at the top of a mountain, and is a good example of how renewables can work. But there's one place that I think has been forgotten, our cities. Our cities are suffering. So look at Delhi this week. There's some unprecedented levels of air quality challenges that are an order of magnitude greater than anything we've experienced before. It's so bad, they don't have the right detectors to really understand the ppm in the air. So the causes of this are that 2.2 million children will have permanent lung damage. Now that's a really sad number. And that's only the number that we know that's been publicly released. The real damage is going to be so much worse. So cities are suffering. So I believe that cities historically have been built for machines. They've been built for our cars with roads everywhere. They've been built for our planes to put airports where they're needed. And some people have forgotten, the architects, the town planners, about the people, the very people that live within the city itself. So I hope that we can make a city a beautiful place to live in, one that has energy, where you need it, that's sustainable, a city that's smart. And I believe a smart city is one where there's seamless communication, there's easy mobility for everyone in it. Power is generated where and when it's needed, and it's sustainable. But can we make our cities greener? Can a city feel like I'm walking through a beautiful field with the smell of the flowers and the greenery around me? Can a city feel as good as that? So I'm on a mission to try and make our cities greener. Now, I've talked about how I see the world, and solar and wind are there, but there's a really big challenge in urban areas. Now, I started my career at the largest energy company in Europe. And they said to me, Laurence, it was my first job as well, so my first ever job. They said, Laurence, we want you to build a new form of street lighting powered by energy in cities. So off I went, trying to do solar street lights. It doesn't work in urban areas because there's a lot of shading. Then I thought, what about the wind? But wind really doesn't work in urban environments. You've got to be out where there's a lot more wind, far away from buildings. So I really struggled to find a solution. So I'm at the biggest energy company in Europe, and I failed. They fired me, and hanging my head in shame, I left that company. I was crying a little bit too. And so I spent the next 5 years in my bedroom trying to deliver a product that would solve that problem. I happened to have a camera crew there at the time to capture the moment of me creating a new idea. And my idea was, what is all around us? What if we could capture the energy from everyone's footstep? So I know we've all just had lunch and people may be a bit sleepy. So can I just do a test here today at EmTech MENA? Can everyone stand up, please? Up from your seats. Okay, slowly, try not to kick over your coffee. Okay, great. So what I'm going to ask is when everyone's standing up is on 3, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, go. I want everyone to just do a small jump like this, just a small jump, okay? So we're going to do it, when I say go, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, then go. Okay, so ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you very much for your hard steps. Now, you just created enough kinetic energy to power a streetlight for 30 minutes. Okay, you can sit down. Thank you very much. Give yourself a round of applause. Good work there for getting involved, okay? So, 30 minutes of a streetlight. Now, that doesn't sound like very much, but imagine 10 million people in London commuting every day. Imagine approaching 300 million people in America. Imagine everyone in Dubai moving every day for every metro. So the potential is huge of using human power in our cities. Now, I built this prototype in my bedroom, and after 5 long years, I had a wooden prototype. It was held together by duct tape, by sellotape, bits of chewing gum. It was very basic, but it showed that one footstep could generate electrical power. So I had this prototype, and then I had to test it. So to have a technology in a city, it's got to work with people. So I broke into my old school. They weren't very happy. And I put the product in the corridor. This is what happened.
So press button, so I want you to stand on it. So, hey, wait. Yay!
So we made energy fun. Some called it the gamification of energy. The question is that even a good thing? But we showed that people like to walk on this. The next thing is it has to work on the floor. It's one of the harshest environments known to man. So just imagine, when you're in Dubai, there's going to be sand. There's going to be huge amounts of expansion and contraction due to the temperature variation. It has to work underwater. There's going to be flooding. So when it rains in Dubai, obviously things flood briefly. So it has to withstand some of the harshest human physical factors you can imagine, and people trying to destroy the product too. So I made it work. That was my biggest challenge. So if we look at a city, I believe a city is not just about finding a renewable energy solution. A city has to be, a good solution in a city needs to be about wellness, making something fun for me, making it smart to fit into the digital infrastructure of that city, making it sustainable at every part of its production, but then also connecting into the Internet of Things data layout. Now, earlier I talked about cities are built for machines, okay? And an example of that is, we're all connected devices these days. Everyone has several IoT connected things. Now, cities are about machines, are about data, and I want to make it about people. So I don't believe in the Internet of Things. What we believe in is the Internet of Beings. So the Internet of Beings is about people. It's about humans doing something physical, as simple as walking, and then also having a data layer that's really important that helps you to analyze and optimize the performance of that city. So the Internet of Beings is going to be a really key part of future cities. Okay, so we wanted to make this real in a city. So how did we do it? So Elon Musk is a big supporter of what we're doing, and we managed to get him to lend us an early Tesla. So think how many electric vehicles there'll be in this world, and he drove one to our office. So conveniently, there was a Pavegen in the bonnet. We pulled out the Pavegen, and we wanted to see, can people's footsteps actually charge the car? So you can see here, with some artistic license, that you can use the energy of people to power the car, but also to charge the car. So imagine 10 million people moving, storing that energy in batteries all day long, and then using that energy to charge the cars, and it can go and drive away. Now you need several thousand steps to make a car drive a kilometer, but it shows what's possible if you make a city work for you. You've got people, you've got cars, and that infrastructure can work together. Then, in our journey, we worked with Elon Musk at Tesla. We then took it to a busy place. We found the busiest airport in Europe, Heathrow Airport. And they said, we want to do a 6-month trial. How does it work? It went so well, they kept it there for over 4 years. So I believe in cities, and I believe in really testing technologies in urban environments. And the most challenging urban environment in the world, I believe, is a favela. Favelas are places where there's incredible hardship, poverty, infrastructure challenges. And I wanted to see, could I take my tile, my kinetic floor, and install it in a soccer pitch? And the aim was to use the energy of people playing soccer to power the lights in the favela and on the pitch itself. So we went to Rio, and this is a story told by a friend of mine called Helena.
Eu quero andar por cima para ver como que é.
This new form of kinetic technology is a flooring tile. As you stand on it, it converts every footstep to electricity. Just the movement like that. Yeah, that's it.
Quando a gente corre e brinca, a gente ajuda a iluminar.
As these children find out that actually we're helping to light a football pitch, they almost can't believe it, and there's a certain element of delight and we can see in their face when they really get excited about the prospect of what's happening in front of them.
Eu acho muito legal. Eles criam, cria uma coisa tão legal. E ela faz a gente aprender muitas coisas legais.
I think the inspiration around the work that we're doing in the favela is that we're allowing people to take things that they'll see in maybe their classroom, in their learnings, but see it applied in a tangible way that is now in turn powering the community to make real change.
A gente aprendeu que a energia vem do planeta, do sol, do vento e da gente.
So how cool is that? And using a favela as a new power source. So suddenly the students wanted to be scientists and engineers because the energy solution had inspired them. And so now if you go back to Rio and you have a Pavegen t-shirt on, you're the most protected people in that favela as well. So we went to the favela environment, we took it across Nigeria with hip-hop rapper Akon to support us. And what we've done now is we've built over 1,000 prototypes of our technology. So whenever you walk on it, it spins a small flywheel that produces 5 watts of energy. And so we engineer it in the UK. We're based in Cambridge, it's our R&D facility. And it allows us to make the most robust yet the highest power output product possible. And so we've constantly iterating it, especially for harsh desert conditions and also high humidity. And so I guess the way I look at it, we wanted to create a floor that would be, if Apple built a floor, how could we make a floor look? It's got to be durable, it's got to be strong, it's got to be fun to play with, and it ultimately customizable to work in any environment in the world. And so we built that. And I talked earlier about a city. A city's got to be about energy, sustainability, wellness, having fun, and data. So with our idea, we captured the world's imagination, and that allowed us to grow. So the thing we're most excited about is we recently installed it at Abu Dhabi Airport between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. So as people walk through, it powers lights in the ground, but it also powers screens where you can make the plane take off as you walk, and then when you stop walking, it slowly comes down. But you can see data and there's analytics around how people behave. This is our first project in the region, and we're really excited to do more here. So people power. Who would have thought that the United States of America would install it outside the White House? So we were lucky enough to do an installation in DuPont Circle, very, very near the White House. So what you can see here is 3 arrays of Pavegen tiles. So as you walk, the energy is stored in a battery. That energy accumulates during the day and then is used at nighttime to power lighting. So this is an example of how it works and how people behave in Washington. So it's a really easy installation to put in. It's plug and play. So it's like a kit. You drop the tiles in the ground, you connect them together, the triangles, and then you plug everything into our single power controller, and then also into a battery. Now that can feed into the grid or be used locally. The fun thing about this project, so we did a big launch with the government there, is people all day long just jump. And I go, hey, why are you jumping? And he goes, I'm powering my city. And it was so important, the impact it had on the community in America. We also found we got slightly more power in America. So the heavier you are, the more energy is produced. But I won't talk about that too much. So we've now got it in Thailand, in academic institutions in the UK, and we've even built, this is just last week, a running track in Hong Kong, and it's our biggest installation ever, and it isn't live yet. But as people run and keep fit, we're actually powering part of the building. So that's just gone into Hong Kong. But I also believe in how can you make cities better places? So one of the projects we did recently was in Bird Street, in Oxford Street in London. As you walk, it powers birdsong. So you think you're in the forest. It's a fun environment. It also powers the lights as you walk through. So I think to make a technology work, it's got to hit all these elements of a smart city. It can't just be about energy. So we developed it further in that when you walk on my floor, you will generate power. But when you walk, you also get rewarded on your mobile device. This is really important. Imagine walking into the Mall of the Emirates, and for your single footsteps you've made, you can get rewards. So you could use that energy you've created, that currency, that can actually reward you in different ways. So we've got a really good example in London. On the mobile devices, you get rewards, you can get a discount on a coffee, you can go and use it to go to your favorite store, and really help people to enjoy the experience of energy. So we even in the future believe you could actually buy things with that currency, the energy that you've produced in that city. And the analytics behind it, we think are going to be a really important way to do it, and linking it to charity. So imagine if every step here today, if a sponsor allowed us to donate 1 dirham for every single step to a charity, imagine the change we could all make together, walking, moving together throughout this space. So we're really excited about that. So what does 2020 hold and beyond? So for us, we're really excited about the vision of the future city. I was quite negative earlier about cities, but if you think of what's going on here now, I think we're excited about taking it with lots of brands around the world like we have already, but much, much bigger scale. But more importantly, Expo 2020 is a year away. We're so excited about that. So we really want to take our technology there on scale. So that's so important for us to do. So we're really looking to find partners that can help us do that. And NEOM. So we're going to see some of the biggest smart city developments happening in the world, in Saudi Arabia soon too, that allows us to build this future city. Also cars. Imagine if you could use the energy from every vehicle to generate power, just like we use on our floor, but we want to scale it up. That's next. That was my story about Pavegen, about how I've taken an idea and turned it into something that's being used around the world. And you may sit and listen to Al Gore, Greta Thunberg, and some of these amazing climate activists. They don't always give you solutions. So I'm a technologist, I'm an environmentalist, and I wanted to give you some of my solutions that I've found around the world. So one really important change is coal-fired power stations obviously are very bad for the world. China will be building 2,000 more coal-fired power stations. There's a gentleman called Rodney Allen, who is a Nobel Peace Prize winner for his work in the energy sector. He's a scientist. He's come up with a technology that can eliminate the carbon produced from a power station. So if you look at the macro scale, China's 2,000 power stations could eliminate, will produce a billion tons of carbon. It would produce 0 with his technology, so it is possible. Secondly, the supergrid. The supergrid has the potential to transfer energy with no losses of power, virtually none. It does this by using 1,000,000 volts, so extremely high voltage. There's already one in China. It's 3,000 kilometers long. Now, it's a really big problem losing energy from the grid. So I'll give you an example. Australia has a really bad grid, and at the moment, in 1 year, they'll lose so much power, it could charge an iPhone for nearly 15 million years. So that's a lot of power that's lost. The supergrid could mean, in London, when I'm there plugging my laptop in, I'm using power from the United Arab Emirates, produced by solar, that's sent all the way to London efficiently. So I think that the grid, the carbon, the elimination from a supergrid is going to be a key technology we'll see in 2050, making a big change to the planet we live in. So I've got a big vision with Pavegen. I've shown some other technologies, but ultimately I want to make my floor the same price as normal flooring. So you can put my floor in, and the same cost, I'll give you energy and data and make cities a better place. So I'll just finish up in 1 second. So firstly, really important you rate the talks on the Hoover app. So really important, please get the app out and rate it if you can. But I want to end it with this. So, I've got this vision that when you all walk to work in the morning in a few years' time, so when you walk to work in the morning, I want your steps to power the lights during your walk home in the evening. Thank you.